Oh my God, they're such whiners. Yes. So there were a couple of left-wing people who said some crazy things that got elected. And now 98.8% of the rest of the Democratic Party is melting down and saying, we're doomed. And that's making headlines. That's might hurt fundraising.
Jackson is now the presumptive Democratic nominee in the Maine Senate race. The former state senator and candidate for governor is set to officially be nominated this Saturday at the party's convention. It's been only about 2 weeks since former candidate Graham Plattner dropped out following a sexual assault allegation, which he denies.
Official Nirav Shah, they both dropped out of the race on Sunday because of that. I think Democrats looked at the calendar more than anything, Lindsay. They lost their nominee just a few weeks ago, and there wasn't much of an appetite for a prolonged family fight. It also shows that Jackson is someone who can organize. He does have that background, and he has that ability, and he showed it this weekend.
Jackson seems to have enough delegate support, but the real question here is, can he still convince Plattner voters to come out in droves? Days removed from Graham Plattner's exit,
we are suspending campaign operations.
And Maine Democrats appear to have a new Senate candidate.
We're not from the left, we're not from the right, we're from the bottom, and we're rising.
Former Maine Senate President and logger Troy Jackson securing 481 of 500 delegates' support, according to his campaign, and triggering a series of suspensions as others like Nirav Shah pull the plug on their push and fall in line behind Jackson.
Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of The Conservative Libertarian. All right, guys, we are back with another episode. Yes, sir. We're going to be doing another one. We got my man Warren Smith, the Secret Scholar Society. I guess he's going to be talking about how the Democrats created the worst debate disaster ever televised. Man, I have been seeing some of the debates of the Democrats, trying to, I guess they're doing the one in Maine, I'm assuming, because of Graham Plattner or whatever. But I think they already have their candidate. I've already heard that they're going to probably be backing Troy Jackson. Remember, this is supposed to be a democracy, right? So, I mean, we're going to see how democratically this was put together. But they had some debates that were on television, and boy, oh boy, were they a disaster.
Held a debate to find a replacement for Graham Plattner. It is the most hilarious debate I have ever seen.
For the next 2 hours, you're going to hear from 8 candidates, each of whom hopes to be Maine's Democratic nominee for the United States Senate.
When I first saw this, I thought, this cannot be real. This has to be a comedy sketch. You would have to train to be this bad.
I threw Donald Trump off the ballot on January 6th. And then, when Donald Trump came for your voter data, I said, hell no, go jump in the Gulf of Maine. I fought in court to keep your data safe, and we won.
So at the beginning, we have all the candidates introduce themselves and explain why they're qualified to be there.
Good evening, everyone. My fellow Mainers, I didn't expect to be here. We didn't expect to be here as a state.
It feels like they're reading off their notes that they scrambled together at the last minute.
This special election comes down to one thing: electability.
Meanwhile, Ashley Webb over here is just like, I didn't write anything down, but I'm here.
Ashley Webb, what qualifications do you have to serve in the U.S. Senate?
Oh, I ran for office several times. Didn't win, but I did run. And then I'm a songwriter, and then I write my own books. And then I suppose my transparency, I wouldn't lie to the people, and I wouldn't deceive the people like we're being deceived right now. Like, we get lied to, smoke and mirrors, like what's going on with ICE.
Compared to the...
That, I'm trying to be so respectful right now. Like, say, because I'm on, YouTube, so I don't want to be rude. Holy moly. They're letting anything fly. Now, am I saying that, she shouldn't? I mean, I don't even know. I don't even know. Should they, right? I'm gonna do that. Should they, right? Should they be, putting these type of people up here, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, is this really who represents Maine? Or is this like a small, portion of Maine that is being represented right now. Because like, there's no way she got this far. Like, there's no way this actually happened. Say like, oh, anybody can just come up here. There's like no credentials. You don't need to have anything really. You don't need to know how to run government. You never need to, you know what I'm saying? You don't have to have like a law degree or some type of like, credentials to say that you know what you're talking about. No, you just have to be, a citizen. So you just gotta be a random smeckler person. It's awful there. It makes no sense.
The other candidates, at least, comes across as authentic, strange, but authentic.
And I suppose the biggest thing is, like, I'm just an angry citizen now, and if I got elected, I'd be an angry senator, and I think that would probably be their worst nightmare.
David Costello.
Like Dan, I haven't held elective office, but I have, as I mentioned earlier, I've held senior level positions for over 27 years, actually.
Senior level positions in what? There's just this sense in the air of like, none of them are really that qualified. You ran and you didn't win, and you ran and lost, and now you're back. And
with us are David Costello, who ran unsuccessfully for the nomination this year and was the Democratic Senate nominee 2 years ago. Lizzie Dickerson, who was elected to 2 terms in the Maine House of Representatives, but resigned early in the second term to move to Colorado. Of course, she's back.
The thing that stood out the most to me are just these simplistic talking points. We want free health care. We want free child care. We want to end the war. It's like, okay, but how?
I'm Elizabeth Dickerson.
That's the thing. They never know how. That's always the issue with these Democrats, bro. They always tell you they know what they're gonna do, right? But they never can tell you how. Because they never tell you the middle part, right? They never tell you about, oh, well, we have to raise taxes. They never tell you about, oh, well, we have to let, tens of millions of people to come into the country because there's people out here who are not trying to work these jobs for slave wage labor. We have to import the third world into our country for the just right of just, illegal immigrants to come into this country. It's just, they never have solutions. That is the biggest issues that I have with these Democrats. They don't have solutions. All it sounds like, well, you know what I hear? You know what I hear when I hear Democrat talk? I hear cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I just hear a woman with a credit card and she just swiping it nonstop. They don't have any discipline, right? There's no physical responsibility within this person whatsoever.
Platform that we all have, I think that we've heard tonight, is kind of simple: for food security for all, health.
Did she bring, is that a book? What is that? You could do this on a debate stage? You could bring like source material to read off? I thought it was a debate, not a fucking speech. What the fuck?
Healthcare for all, housing for all, to abolish ICE, and to reverse climate change and end the war.
Holy moly. I'm learning so much, but so little from these Democrats. They're all the same.
Thank you for listening.
But how specifically would you do these things? And no one offers any substance.
Ashley Webb.
I'm Ashley Webb. I'm from Farmington, Maine. The biggest thing I'd like to get across is that we need unity. Whoever wins this nomination, we need to show up at the polls, we need to vote for them, and we need to make sure they win no matter what.
You can hear the moderators trying to provide them time to expand on something specific, but it just never happens. So they're just like, all right, moving on.
And as far as like this, what happened in Biddeford, it's unacceptable. We knew since January that what ICE has been doing with Alex and Renee.
All right, let's move on to the questions.
What? After this disaster, Ashley Webb went and appeared on a podcast, and I took the time to actually watch this podcast. The moment that stood out the most to me was when the host acknowledges the fact that there was no specifics, no substance.
Everybody was like, abolish ICE, but there were no other, there was no substance behind that. I would love to hear, their accusation is that there's no substance behind abolish ICE. You've given a little bit about that. I mean, why would you think abolishing ICE is the appropriate step to take? And if so, why would that be?
I think we need to abolish ICE.
Real quick, this is a paid advertisement from Rumble Wallet. How much control do you need with buy one Mr. Wallet?
Here's Care was as Grandpa
back now
withdrew from the race last week. As you know, he had a lot of plans on health care, was advocating Medicare for all. He talked about tax reform in a number of ways, curbing corruption, defending democracy. excited a lot of people with his enthusiasm and how he talked about those issues.
Who wouldn't want to curb corruption? Who wouldn't want to defend democracy? You can feel the moderators just trying to get something new.
I think we're up to you, Lizzie Dickerson. Tell me one idea that you recall from Graham Plattner's campaign that you would embrace and pursue if you went to Washington.
Well, I mean, I think that it isn't so much about the ideas that he had, because he was talking about things that people have been talking about for a long time. He really didn't bring up a whole lot that was new.
That's the best they could do. It's as though they believe if they say, hey, we want Medicare for all enough, people will just vote for it. They don't need to explain how we're going to achieve Medicare for all.
He energized a movement that's always been there. We don't have to choose. It's about Medicare for all.
Lord have mercy. Is there like a puppet? Is she being like, is there something like making her talk like that? Like, is she high? I'm high right now, but damn, is she higher than me? Maine, y'all have an issue. You know what I'm saying? Democrats in general have an issue. They have embraced this side of the political spectrum. A bunch of freaking crazy people who don't expound on anything. They don't give you any explanation about how they're gonna do things. They just tell you what they want to do, but they can't tell you how we're gonna get there. They never talk about how they're gonna be physically responsible for the debt that we have going on in this country. You know what I'm saying? They never tell you exactly how they're going to be able to lower prices and, you know what I'm saying, and get, you know, housing prices down. Like they're not really expounding on any of that. The only thing they want to do is abolish ICE, abolish the police, abolish you know what I'm saying, the Senate. They want to get rid of just a whole bunch of things that are checks and balances into this country, and they want to just make sure that it's just radicalized to a point to where no one has control over their own lives. It's kind of hard to watch a little bit too, but yeah, you let me know, you guys let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below, whether or not this is L or W. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one, man. Peace.